me, 2.0.
World League Wrestling, this is where sports entertainment stops. This is where pro wrestling will always live.
Welcome, everyone, to WLW Amplify. I'm CT Harrison, and with me, as always, my partner in crime, referee, commentator, and one heck of a DM, Martin Kadich.
I mean, for all the hats I wear, it kind of explains why I'm bald.
Does it?
You know, man of many hats, they say. Well, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be a man of many hats. But today, I'm extra excited.
Yeah.
Because we got another person who wears a few hats.
Absolutely. On the show today, Allaney Harley. Welcome.
Hello.
For those of you that don't know, Allaney is training at the World League Wrestling, at the Harley Race Wrestling Academy, and is also the first female referee at World League Wrestling.
You're not wrong.
Hey.
Not wrong at all, CT.
That's a heck of an accomplishment right there, really, to be honest.
Yeah,
But
it is. It is.
before we get started, a big thank you to our sponsors, Trenary Ford in Moscow Mills, Trenary Chevrolet in Troy,
CT Harrison Business Solutions, Traveling East Productions, and Impact Digital Designs.
Impact Digital Designs. This is all brought to you by that and $20 I found in my laundry this morning.
I'm telling you, man. I if I don't stop stuffing them 20s down in your pocket before you do your laundry.
See, now you sound like Sean Patrick.
Yeah. There's places and jokes I could make right here,
Right.
people, that I'm not going to do over the internet.
I totally get that. So, anyhow,
I highly advise against it.
I'm going to have to go with you on that one. So,
I mean, what happens on the internet stays on the internet
forever.
forever. It's not like Vegas.
No. So, Allaney, did you grow up in St. Louis area, or where did you actually grow up at?
Yeah, pretty much just the St. Louis area, greater St. Louis area. Small little town called Washington, just south of Troy, right on the Missouri River. That's where I grew up. Spent most of my days there.
Yeah, and you're still relatively young.
I just turned 27, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, this past week.
Then that's why I brought that up. So, happy birthday.
Thank you.
You got to celebrate last night a little bit. So
I did, yeah. It was...
Did you go to McDinger's?
I did. I went back to McDinger's. First time I've seen it without a wrestling ring in the middle of it. It was
That's
a really
different, right?
nice... Yeah, it's a nice place, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. So you went through school, you grew up in the St. Louis area, but what got you... I mean, did you watch wrestling growing up? Did you grow up like in a wrestling family where like
It's funny.
Did people watch?
Yes and no. So growing up, I watched, WWE was the only thing that was on TV at the time. So I watched a lot of WWE, and then it's actually a really funny story what got me into wrestling. My family, so they live down at the Lake of the Ozarks in a little town that is very fond of WLW, Eldon, Missouri.
Yeah.
So
that was our home for a very long time.
So I went down there every single summer, and one of my aunts was working, I think like a charity event, and WLW just so happened to be the place where she was working at. So they had a show, and she was working concessions. She's like, "Hey, do you want to go? I know you love wrestling." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'll go. Like, why not? Let's go watch this." So I went and fell even more in love with it. And that is when I realized that's what I wanted to do. Because you see stuff on TV, you're like, "Oh, that's cool." But when you see it in person, it's like, man, these people are superheroes. So yeah, that's what got me into wrestling.
So you caught the bug early.
Oh yeah.
And that was in Eldon, Missouri, which, you've been out by there now, and you've worked a show up in Richmond, which is a lot of the Eldon crowd.
Yeah.
So how did that feel like? Kind of a homecoming to the birth of you, being wanting to be in wrestling.
Yeah, it did. It kind of came full circle in a way. You grow up watching it, and then especially for a certain company, and then you go and you start training for that company and training and then becoming a referee for that company. It's almost a full circle story, and it's one of those feel good stories too.
Right. And I agree with you in what you said. You can watch the TV products that people have. You can go to their big pay-per-views with thousands of fans and everything, but until you're in one of those smaller venues with about 100 to 200 fans, and you see everybody there just like all working towards the same goal, in my opinion, that's easy way to get hooked to pro wrestling. So, what was it like when you first walked into the training?
Honestly, I was really intimidated. Like, I don't get too intimidated by a lot of things, but it was really intimidating walking in. I was like, man, I followed this particular company for a while, and I kind of have when you grow up watching a certain company and seeing what it becomes later on, you kind of like, I guess you have a sense of pride for it.
Right.
You're extra happy for them. And walking in, I was like, man, I got to make this work. We got to do it. Like, let's go. Let's do it now. Like,
but what was it like? Like, you walk in there and you're in the presence of Harley Race.
I was really nervous. And it's funny, you hear a lot of Harley stories, right? How he's this like big bad guy, and but every time I met him, every time I talked to him, he was always just so like caring. He cared about every student he had. He loved them as his own kid. I mean, he wanted us to do nothing but just succeed. And after talking to him for a while and having a couple conversations with him, like, the nervousness kind of wore off, but it's still Harley Race. Like, how can you not be starstruck to a degree? Yeah, it was. Yeah, gosh, it was so funny. It was really nice though.
Do you got a funny Harley story? I always ask everybody for a funny Harley story. So what's your ones?
I don't know if somebody has told it yet, but it's one of my favorites. So it was right when I started training, right around the time I started training. Some guy, I don't remember who it was, but he landed very awkwardly on the mat, kind of like on his head. Mm. And Harley was in his chair, cigarette in hand, Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi in the other hand, and a cigarette in one. And I kind of like looked away because I was like, man, that didn't look good. And I looked at Harley, kind of jumped out of his chair a little bit. He's like, in his voice, he's like, oh my gosh, did he just break his explicit word neck? And we're like, I hope not, man. But that was one of my favorite Harley stories. Just his reaction. I was like, Jesus.
So you start training at the academy, and you've been there for how long now?
So I started October of 2018. Only person left in my class. There were 3 other guys. There was 3 other guys and me.
And you outlasted them.
I outlasted all of
them. That a girl.
Yeah, I was like, hey, I know this is what I want to do. They came in and they're like, oh, I think I want to do this. I'm like, no, we're going to do this. Like, this is happening now.
So what wrestlers were your favorite growing up? Like, who did you look up to? Was there any that caught your eye and you were just like, oh, that's what I want to?
Stone Cold, for sure. I mean, anybody in the Attitude Era. It was always Stone Cold. Shawn Michaels. Loved Shawn Michaels. I really liked Chyna. I mean, I know she's kind of got, like, her name kind of has a bad rep nowadays, but I loved just...
She was one of a kind.
Yeah, man. I mean, she would get in there and she would, like, just fight these guys with no care in the world, and she beat the bricks off of them.
She was big, too.
She was. I mean... I could not get... I mean, I could get that body if I wanted, but I don't. But she, man, she was a trailblazer for sure.
Yeah.
I really, really... And the stuff she did with DX, like, that was like... I can't cuss here, but that was, like, some amazing stuff.
Yeah. And then, unfortunately, there's not we don't have a female roster anymore.
No.
So like, there's nobody for you to compete with.
Yeah. It's
But
rough.
but something kind of amazing happened. Really, there was a hole left because our buddy Richard had gone off to chase his dream a little more, and so that left us short a referee. So you stepped up to the plate.
I did.
And I mean, in my opinion, have knocked it out of the ballpark.
Yeah.
Martin, you're the senior referee. I mean, for you, what is it like having getting to work with Allaney as a ref and doing some training with her and kind of passing on some of your.
Well, the one thing about Allaney is she's always striving to do better, no matter what it is when it comes to pro wrestling. Every day I see her up there training to wrestle. She gets in there with the boys. She gives it as good as she gets. She don't say thank you. She don't say sorry. As far as reffings come along, she listened to everything that I think I tried to tell her. I know she listened to Richard a little bit. and she, I feel like World League Wrestling has two senior refs. Me, because I'm old and I'm a ref, and Allaney, because she does her job so damn well.
Yeah, but Sean Patrick said Allaney is the best ref in the building.
He's not wrong.
And
Respond.
Sean said, "I'm sorry, I punched you in the face."
You get one time, Sean. The next time, I'm gonna charge you for that.
What? Actually, that's a story you could probably tell.
Well, now that she's
Now you
a
gotta
ref,
tell
she
it.
can charge him for it. So,
Oh yeah. So
There's
tell
a
the story.
Sean and I had a match. We were, it was training match, and man, he just reared back and punched me right in the face. I was like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, did this man just punch me in the face? So I slapped him in the face the next week.
Okay.
Hey, he got to have a receipt.
That's how it works. Okay. But it's Sean, so he probably,
It is.
it's that's all I'm going to say. It's Sean.
he said he's undefeated with Allaney as a ref too. So, I guess that means he's only defeated with me as a ref.
Yeah.
I just count to 3. Let's be real.
I try to just count to 3, but I don't think I can't remember counting 3 in that match. So,
I don't know.
Hello to Sean. We see you out there. Alex, Cynthia, Sarge. It's good to see you guys here participating. If you got any questions for Allaney, feel free to ask them, and we'll make sure she gets them. So, you start. Like, were you really nervous to start reffing, or was it something you thought you were going, well, yeah, I could do that?
Honestly, I wasn't really nervous. It was just something that I had never explored before. So I guess, yes, I was nervous in a way, but I wasn't nervous to the point where I just had, like, this crippling anxiety. Like, I was ready. It's better than selling hot dogs and handshakes. So I was out there, and thanks, Joy. I was out there, and I just was like, all right, let's do this. I remember standing in the ring for the first time, and I was just kind of blown away. I was like, man, so this is what it looks like with a bunch of people outside. And honestly, I don't even remember the first match I refereed. I was just, like, so excited and, like, ready to go.
I tell you what's funny for me is, I'm usually down at ringside with the camera. And what's funny for me is you watch Allaney go out there and her hair's all tied up, right? Everything's good. And when the match is over, she looked like, I don't know, how do you, like Medusa? Because, like, the hair comes out of the bun kind of, and it's like going in all these directions because she's been running that ring. It's like, the hair just goes way out here. It's
but
hilarious.
It works. So I'm like,
does.
well, you start the match, you're primed, ready to go, and you end it, and it's just like your hair is crazy. So what I look like after, like, a day of work, I just, like, want to pull my hair out.
okay. One of the super fans,
Yeah.
Alex Med, wants to know what females in the current wrestling world would you like to face?
Oh man, That's tough.
Yeah.
Give him a top 10.
Because or at least a 5, or a top 3, something. And you can go anywhere. You can go anywhere with this. You can go to the AEW. You can go, Impact, WWE, NXT, whatever. Top 3.
Oh man.
Number 3, go from
Bianca Belair.
Yeah,
Love her.
yeah.
She's gonna be an amazing. She's gonna be a star.
She's got so much more to go. She hasn't even
does.
reached her potential yet.
No. Second, I have to go with Becky. I just love Becky. She really turned.
You think she's gonna come back though?
Oh yeah.
Think so?
Oh yeah. She's gonna be better than the Bella Twins when she comes back from her maternity leave.
That's not saying.
No, I'm just.
I'm not.
That's not a hard job.
No,
Come on,
no.
I'll stop.
No comment. But Becky for sure. I
Yeah.
love Becky. And my third one, man, I would love to wrestle Lita. When I grew up watching Lita, I loved Lita. The red hair, the tattoo, she was just like everything to me. I loved her. She's one of my favorites, one of my favorites.
And what an impact her and Trish made when they actually got to headline the show, and the match that they had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she almost broke her neck on that one.
Yeah, I remember watching that.
Suicide dive,
wow.
I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Through the middle rope. I think she did break her neck,
Tope
actually.
Suicida.
Yeah, I just loved it. And then the whole Divas Revolution came through, and I was like, man, this isn't even fun.
There is a lot of females right now. Like, if you really look at the landscape of the female wrestlers right now, it's changed so much.
Oh, yeah.
From, bra and panties matches to, these ladies are fighting like the men now.
Hell in a Cell.
Oh.
Charlotte and Sasha had the first Hell in a Cell match, I believe.
Well, did you see Mercedes Martinez and Rhea Ripley?
Yeah. Like, man, this was 10, 15 years ago. That would have never even been thought of.
No.
And it's really amazing to see how far the women's division on a mainstream level like WWE has come.
Right.
It is very, it is inspiring, especially for somebody like me growing up when you had seen the divas, wrestle in a bra and panties match. Like, I don't want to see that. Like, that is not something that inspires me. But I'm
inspired by it.
I'm so sure you are. But seeing nowadays, seeing how far it's come, it is something that is very inspiring. Yeah.
It's good to see them, and you go and you watch some of these females from everywhere, like all the way from I started watching some of the females like back in Lucha Underground. And then you saw some stuff on the the Impact ladies here a few years ago when they were doing some good stuff. And then the WWE finally caught on and said, yeah, I guess we better start letting these ladies do this. And then you saw these girls that the WWE had brought in because they were models, because that was the whole premise of bringing in women to WWE was models.
Right.
They had to be candy. And they found out that some of these girls were actually very athletic.
Yeah.
Alicia Fox, for one of them.
Trish
Stratus.
Mickey James. Well, no, she was
legit.
Yeah.
But you even saw girls like Kelly Kelly.
Right.
Who actually was able to do some stuff in the ring pretty decently. And even the Bella Twins. They pulled off some cool stuff.
They did, yeah.
But now it's crazy. Are you bringing the women back to WLW? That depends on the women. I tell you what, Loretta, why don't you get some ladies to come train at WLW, and we'll get them prepared, and we'll get a new ladies division going.
Loretta, just for the record, that is like my top priority. I've said it to the front office many a times, like, hey, let's go, let's get this going. You're missing out on a big opportunity here.
Who is Loretta Howe?
She's a fan.
Oh, she's a fan? Okay. Oh, you were coming and then, okay, I got you. All right. Alex Med. Alex Med says, give me your top 3 favorite matches of all time.
Man. Do I dare say Alicia Fox versus Melina? I'm joking. That was a joke. No, it definitely wasn't. I would say Undertaker and Mankind, Hell in a Cell.
Oh, iconic.
Not Undertaker. Steve Austin and Rock, WrestleMania. I think
Which one?
WrestleMania 18, maybe. I think 18 might have been. And gosh, anything with Shawn Michaels. I love Shawn.
Dude could perform,
He can, my God.
and he could perform.
I guess at this point we're talking about your eye candy, which is just
Is
as
that Shawn?
good,
Shawn
I
Michaels
guess,
is your eye candy.
just as good as a Divas division. It's all eye candy, Shawn Michaels.
I like Shawn more for his ability in the ring, and and on the mic.
I like it because he was a really good guy for taking a beating, and he knew how to take a beating and still fight his way back, and let everybody see the result as the result of the match, no matter what he felt like. He did always do his job, and he did a great job. That's what makes him one of the best ever.
Joy Little would like to know what's your favorite move?
It's funny, Joy is one of my best friends, so she definitely knows this. It's 100% the RKO.
Really?
I just, man, you can hit it on anybody,
Anywhere,
at any time. I mean, you see Orton hit it on Evan Bourne out of a shooting star press.
That was awesome.
It was. He hit it on Seth Rollins out of a curb stomp. Like that. It's so versatile.
Right.
You could do it on anybody.
I get it.
And I like those kind of moves that you could just hit on anybody at any time, anywhere.
That's high praise right there.
Wow. Brandon Schmidt. Wow, bro.
Brandon coming in hot with the compliment.
He says, in my opinion, Allaney is easily the best referee WLW has had since John Cone. That's saying a lot. John Cone, for those of you who don't know, John Cone works for WWE and is like one of the top guys in there. Has got a lot of responsibility, but he's a WLW guy. I'm impressed by each match I've watched her work in that ring general zone every time. Sky's the limit for her for sure. That being said, get that woman a match. Yeah, we'd like to, Brandon.
Hey,
We'd like to. When are you going to come back to a show, Brandon? Jeez.
Yeah, Brandon, come on.
Yeah, if I lose her as a ref, man, on the squad, are you going to come back?
Yeah, for those, Brandon Schmidt used to be was a referee for WLW.
That's right.
Good guy.
He was the senior ref when I started reffing. So, he's one of the guys that I highly praise and listen to, and
Oh yeah, anytime I've seen Brandon at a couple matches or at a couple shows, he's always giving advice like do this, do that, try this, try that. I love all the conversations I've ever had with Brandon in regards to reffing.
So, where do you go from here? I mean, you're still training, you're reffing. Is there anything else that interests you in World League Wrestling? Anything else you'd like to try?
In World League Wrestling, I think I've really carved a good spot out in as a referee.
Oh, for sure.
I wasn't, when I was first told by the front office, like, hey, we're definitely looking at you as a ref. I think we want to try this out. I was excited. I was like, oh, this is like a different avenue. I definitely go into everything not having a closed mind. I love to explore different avenues in wrestling in general. Because the more you know, the more that you're able to give back in the future. So I try not to be so one-dimensional. Mm-hmm. And if they asked me go out and interview somebody, I gladly would.
Person in the chat, Laura Smurfett,
I love that
says,
name.
"Hey Allaney, how did you start refereeing for WLW?"
Like, did they come to you and say, "Hey, we need this. Can you do this? Will you do this?" Or did you go, "Hey"?
No, they actually approached me and asked me, hey, do you want to, we want you to do this. And I was like, absolutely. Like, I'm not going to say no. It's better because I can't wrestle at this moment because we don't have a women's division.
Right.
I think it's better to try different avenues out. Learn. You can learn so much from just being in the ring. You don't have to be wrestling to learn wrestling when you're in the ring. So that's kind of how that started. I definitely wasn't going to say no because that would just be a boneheaded move.
I got a question now. Because this has been my thought for a long time. And you see both sides of it. You're training to be a wrestler. You want to be a wrestler. But you've refereed quite a few matches now on your own. Do you think you learned something by being a referee before you're being a wrestler? Do you think it affects how you go about wrestling in the ring?
Yeah. You learn. It's like a two-sided coin. When you're wrestling, you're focusing on a lot of things at once. When you're reffing, you are focusing on a lot of other things at once, but you're seeing the match in a different way. Where you need to be positioned for, production reasons, and where you need to be in terms of, maybe not for production reasons. And it's
safety reasons.
Yes, safety reasons for sure. But yeah, I've learned a lot on both sides of the coin because in training I still have matches, but on the show I'm reffing, so you definitely see the coin from a different side and you pick up certain things.
You think that'll help you be a better wrestler?
Oh, for sure. Ring awareness, 100%.
Right. So at least you know now how to get away from the referee's eye.
That's exactly.
If I wanted to cheat, I'd be the best cheater next to Eddie Guerrero.
Right. Nobody cheats better than
No, that's why I said
Eddie
next.
did.
I'm not better.
Alex Med asked if you could wrestle a former WLW alumni, who would it be?
We talking male, female? I mean,
give us one of each.
Gosh, that's a tough one. There's been a lot of really amazing wrestlers that have come through WLW.
Mm-hmm.
Female, I'm gonna lay the challenge straight out to Stacey O'Brien. I know she's in retirement, but
is it actual retirement?
Semi-retirement, maybe. It's funny. I'm gonna make her feel maybe a little old right now, but when I was growing up and going to WLW shows, I used to boo the heck out of Stacey O'Brien. I couldn't stand her. I couldn't. But I would love to have a match with Stacey. And I would say male. That's tough because there's been a lot of great men to come through WLW. Mm-hmm. Trevor, gosh, I see Trevor every once in a while. He'll come to a show here and there, but he's so knowledgeable. He has so much knowledge that
we had Trevor on the show.
Yeah, even if you were in there for 5 minutes with him, you would pick up so much knowledge that you wouldn't have even thought about before. So I say Trevor and Stacey. Handicap match. Might not walk out, but that's okay.
How about a triple threat match? That'd at least make it fair for everyone.
Yeah.
All right. Also, Jack Gamble's kind of put you on that list of young lions that he says he wants to face. So, and he's out there. You could find him somewhere and get your match. You never know.
I don't know. In WLW, I don't think you're not going to see a mixed match.
Probably not. And I respect that. The front office, that's their decision, and I completely respect that 100%. But Jack Gamble, if you're ever in an abandoned parking lot anywhere, let me know. I'll bring Martin with me. We'll have a match. Unsanctioned. No DQ.
Ooh. No DQ against Jack Gamble.
It's common knowledge that I keep my ref shirt in the back of the car, so...
Hey, look, if that's one thing that a wrestler needs to learn, if you're coming up in the business, always have your gear with you everywhere you go.
Never know when that 24/7 title might be on the line.
You never know when you're going to get a call to do something. I mean, look at our guys who go, like when WWE or somebody comes to town and our guys go down there, yeah, they go down and they help with, set up and do whatever they can, but you never know when they're going to say, hey, you and you, I need you to go to the ring.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you've seen Kyle Roberts on WWE. You've seen Miss Monica. Miss Monica's another one up when they were in.
She
Kansas
did.
City.
She Nia Jax. And she got some stuff in on Nia too.
Yeah.
Make your own
So
shot.
WLW has a huge. There's a lot of opportunities, and if you are willing to go in and make it work, it will work for you.
But you got to put in the work.
You have to.
Got to put in the work.
You have to. Like, you can't just go in, slack off, and hope for the best. Like, you have to make that work because you're the only. If you bet on yourself, that's the greatest bet you'll ever take.
Absolutely. If you guys got some more questions, keep them coming, and we'll make sure she answers. And Candace Hill, you are correct. Stacy was one of the best female wrestlers. Absolutely. Unfortunately, the belt does not sit on her waist.
Yeah, where is our champion? Speaking of, Miss Lucy, you out there anywhere?
Are you?
No, just asking questions.
Just saying.
Just asking questions, getting answers.
Oh, okay.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Miss Lucy.
We haven't seen her since Night of Champions 4, when she won the belt from Stacy. As a matter of fact.
Interesting. Very
Like got it
interesting.
tucked away, maybe like thinking she made off and doesn't have to, like there's nothing for her here. Like I got it, it's mine now. Da da da.
My comments are not internet feasible right now, so I'm going to be quiet.
Okay.
I'm just asking questions.
I know, and I get it.
Answers.
I would ref that
Investigating.
match. I try to at least say that once an episode.
I would ref that match.
Conflict of interest, but
All right then. Boy, I tell you, there's so many different directions to go in. Like, what is some of your favorite stuff during training? You like the cardio? You like
I
dojo
hate
days?
cardio.
You like?
I do like dojo days. I'm not gonna lie. The cardio days I hate. I've always hated cardio, but that's okay. It makes you better. It does make you better. Any day that I get to have, let's see. That's a tough question, man. Why you hit me with these tough questions today?
Yeah, something to do.
Something to do. I would say I love the days where I get to perfect my arsenal. The moves that I know, learning different moves. I love being able to perfect them. I like the fundamentals are my favorite because if you have the fundamentals down, you could do almost anything in a match.
Allaney versus Miss Natural.
Oh gosh, that would be fun.
Leave it up to Sarge to bring up that.
right.
That would be a lot of fun.
Alex Med says, where would you like to be in 5 years in wrestling?
Oh man, not in Missouri. Breaking through a glass ceiling, probably.
Brass ring?
The glass ceiling. Punch through the glass ceiling.
You don't want to mention the brass ring after what Rusev said a couple weeks ago. I'm just gonna say, breaking glass ceilings is cool to me. I'd like to see you near the top.
Oh yeah,
I feel like you got it in you.
Oh, I do. Like
You know what? She could be like a new tag team partner for Nikki. For Nikki Cross. Like you and Nikki Cross could the short, muscular build, you two could go
See,
all out.
and here I was thinking it would be either Moses or Colton because they seem to be having trouble keeping their tag team together.
Oh, man, you had to go there.
that was
That hurt.
a bomb drop.
That hurt.
Martin.
One of the things about World League Wrestling that we've always discussed too here on the show with some of the older veterans too is the locker room and the way that everybody is in that locker room with each other. Real supportive.
Oh yeah,
It's a
100%.
really neat environment to be in. But you're really lucky as a trainee and as a ref that we have. I mean, our training staff and the guys that you get to talk with. And of course, Stacy's at every show, so you can always bend her ear. Mm-hmm. That's always a good thing. But you have, guys like Derek Stone, Jaden Dominic Rose, who has really put in the effort to really work with the young Lions a lot.
Yeah.
Getting some, getting some feedback from them. What's that like for you?
I love it. A lot of the young Lions, probably about everybody in that division, we all started right around the same time. I was the last to start of that group. So everybody, but when I started, they were all kind of, getting out of their training and becoming their own, trying to start, getting into a groove of becoming their own wrestler. So I guess you could almost say we all kind of started together. You could say.
Yeah.
But I absolutely love like when Derek is there, just talking to him, picking his brain on just the small stuff. And knowing Derek, I'm sure a lot of people know he trains people himself also.
Oh yeah.
He's trained referees, he's trained wrestlers, and so just being able to talk to him and even get like just the smallest little knowledge, because he's been around the business for a while, and
he was the first trainer at World League Wrestling.
Yeah, so he's not only been around the company, but he's been around just the business in general of professional wrestling. So being able to talk to him has really kind of set my mind in a different view, viewing the world different and viewing the business different. Same with Leland. Being able to talk to him,
Wealth of knowledge.
Yes,
because you got to figure everything that Leland has learned on his own, not to mention everything that Harley instilled into him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and anybody really, everybody pretty much has more experience than me, but being able to talk to them, get their feedback on, hey, what could I do different? What do I need to do different? It really is almost kind of like a family vibe.
Yeah,
we all argue. That's what families do.
Totally.
We argue like children.
There's arguments all the time.
Yep, all the time.
Alex Med asked, who's the best person you've gotten advice from besides Harley? I don't know if that's really a fair question.
No, I
What is some of the best advice you've gotten other than from Harley? Let's put it that way.
Dr. Tom.
Really?
So
Pritchard?
I attended in 2015. I attended the training camp that had Dr. Tom and had Ric Flair.
Oof,
Rick
man.
he's something else. He's quite an interesting man in a great way. But Dr. Tom, I learned so much from him, and Steve Carino too. He came to a
he did one
weekend
about a year ago.
Yeah,
a little over a year ago. Well,
yeah, it was about a little over a year ago.
I
learned a lot from those two, and it was. I always just love meeting people who are so willing to give back in the form of knowledge, because I always like to say knowledge is power.
Steve Carino actually made a comment, and he said that our environment was very much like the NXT environment, where everybody was cheering each other on, everybody was supportive of each other, everybody backed each other up, everybody helped each other. He made that comment, and I thought, man, that's a really nice comment to get.
It is.
From a guy who's been in the business for, because Steve Carino's been everywhere, through everything he did with in the Indies and with ROH, as well as, and then getting into WWE as a trainer and producer. I think he did. He's been an agent. He's been everything down there. I'm pretty sure. And man, he's a wealth of knowledge.
He is, and that's why I was so happy to just, even if it was a 5-minute conversation, I learned more in 5 minutes than I knew 5 minutes before.
Right.
So anybody that is willing to give back and give knowledge is always somebody that I highly respect and always seek out to try and have a conversation with, even if it's 5 minutes.
Sure. And we've got a new beginners class coming up.
Yeah, we do.
So That should be interesting. And you got some new ones that started not long ago either.
Yeah. We had, gosh, who do we have? Austin, Billy, Caleb. They're all in there busting their backs. You know, it's not an easy sport to get into. And you're kind of crazy if you want to willingly throw your body to a hard canvas.
That's true.
But
I don't think people realize how hard that actually is.
It's not.
They think, oh, it's like a trampoline. No.
Well, the bounce that you get off of that's not a fun bounce to take.
No, gosh, no, not at all. But I'm really proud of the people that have recently started. Austin, Billy, and Caleb, and Brett also. You know,
Brett, yes,
they've busted their backs every single day.
Very athletic.
Yeah.
These guys.
They what they have, they make it work for them. And I'm very proud to see how far they've come and how far they're going to go and how hard they're willing to work to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually one. You know, I was extremely impressed with Austin and Billy and Brett, and you know when all you young lions came in, and you guys impressed the hell out of me too, because you guys picked up on stuff so fast and you moved through training and you know you were ready to achieve, and then you get the next class coming in, and they're kind of an in-between class. I don't think they come in through a camp. I think they just all came in right around the same time.
No, they have not, because we haven't had a camp. We haven't had a camp since Carino.
Right.
Steve Carino was our last camp.
To see these young guys come in and excel as well as fast as they can, it's you know, it bodes well for the future of World League Wrestling.
We did have a small camp.
We had a tryout.
We had Chris Masters did a little bit with them too before one Saturday before.
Right, but that Billy or Austin, none of those.
No, they
guys
weren't there for any of those.
That was all for already
Yeah.
people wrestling. So
Yeah.
and I mean you got a few minutes to train with a female wrestler that day too that came with him.
Yeah, it was I believe it was his fiance now, girlfriend or fiance, but she just got in there. She's a personal trainer, I believe.
Yeah.
So she's very knowledgeable in warming up in the body and what to do so you don't get injured. And she took me aside for a couple minutes and we worked on a couple things, and I was just so appreciative that she would even take her time to do
I tell you
that.
what I really noticed about her was the way she worked with you guys, not just in the exercise and the warm-ups, but with the correct postures.
Yes.
And the correct way to move your muscles, and when you're doing that, so you don't hurt yourself, and you maximize the effect of the warm up. I thought that was a really good thing.
Yeah, and she was very vital that day, because that's the first. You guys gotta keep in mind that's the first time that I've really been trained by another female, and obviously the female anatomy and body is much different than the male body. So she definitely taught me a lot of ways to just make sure that I'm staying healthy and make sure that my body is being taken care of, and I was just blown away. It was a good time.
Pretty strenuous schedule at the academy too. I mean, you have.
Yeah.
I mean, we're now up to what, 4 days a week, pretty much 3 days. Still 3 days, but it's like
if possible. Yeah.
4 if possible.
Yeah, we're there 5 to 8, sometimes later every day. I mean, a lot of us work our normal jobs. Sometimes work from 6 to whatever, and 7 to whatever, and then we go and we bust our bodies, and basically for the entertainment of all the fans. You can't get better without any training, and that is definitely something that the trainers and WLW in general, like, really, I hate to say beat into you, but they do.
No, literally, it's
they
beat
literally
into
beat
you.
it into you.
But you're. I mean, the training that you get there is not just the physical, but the mental as well.
Oh yeah.
You know, how to handle situations, and it's really great to. You know, a lot of things that you learn in that academy, you take into real life.
Yes, 100%. You know,
a lot of philosophy of hard work pays off.
Yeah.
You know,
I'll tell you honestly, when I first walked in there in October of 2018, I was kind of in a place I was a little insecure in life, and I was a little unconfident in life, and I was kind of in the, that in between you get where you really want to do this, but you want to do that, but you just don't have the confidence to do it. And,
Right.
Coming to train for WLW and the Harley Race Wrestling Academy literally transformed my life. Like, I am much more confident, and I have carried that confidence into my personal life and into my work life.
I've seen some of the posts and some of the stuff you've gotten to do in the last year or so.
Yes.
I mean, you actually had to get up and speak.
I did in front of
Didn't you? Like a year? No, it wasn't a year ago. It was
December. So
December.
In December, I got up, and man, if you would have met me 2 years ago, you would have been like, I don't know how you got through that without having a panic attack. A year ago, in December, I got up in front of my entire company and made a speech about.
She was all. Did you see the picture?
The
She was like
power-
all dressed up and everything, and I'm going, "Is that Allaney?"
The power of opportunity is what the speech was called. So, it talked about basically anything you're going through in life, good, bad, and different. It's always an opportunity to create something out of it.
It's wrestling.
Yeah,
Wrestling 101.
exactly. And a lot of people ask me like, what's it like being the first female referee? And it's great being the first female referee. Don't get me wrong. Being in the history books that's nice, but I think when you're the first at something, it involves a lot of right time, right place,
Right.
a lot of luck. And
But you also have to you have to be responsible enough to set the precedence
yeah,
for any
Create
females
the
that come
law.
after you. Create what you want. See, you're in a position now to create the mold of the female referee for World League Wrestling.
Yeah.
You get the opportunity to say, this is my vision. This is what, the female referee, what I feel the female referee should be. And then those that come up after you can go, man, I want to be just like her. I want to do it, with my own little twist. Exactly.
yeah.
Take your opportunity and make it your own.
I
And use Allaney
I agree.
as your building block.
yeah. It's great being the first, but my true goal is to be the best. No
Well,
offense,
Derek
Ryan.
Stone just said,
It's nice to have a referee that actually sets an example.
Derek Stone just said she is the best. Much love for her, really.
Man, as much as Derek doesn't listen to me sometimes, I love him. He's the best. He really
Derek
is.
doesn't listen to anybody.
He doesn't listen to anybody.
Right, that's
But
high
that's what I
praise.
respect about Derek. He takes his own. He takes his own, and he just goes. He makes it his own. That's something I really like about Derek.
Well, you look at some of the guys he's been able to train. I mean, it's amazing.
Well, I mean that, and the fact that Allaney's refed him too, so she knows the handful he is in the ring.
Well, there is
So
that.
it's high praise, If you could kind of, get in there and officiate Derek Stone, you're really officiating.
Yeah, that's a chore.
It really is. It's a handful, but it's okay.
Trying to keep him from eating the camera when he comes out is a chore.
Hey, I don't have anything to say about what happens before the
Right.
the ring.
What advice would you have for any females coming in now into wrestling?
Man, like wrestling and reffing, or both? Anything in
Just
general?
into the wrestling, into the business. If they were coming into the business, what advice would you give them?
It's gonna sound so corny, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Just follow your dreams. We tend to protect our dreams because it's a manifestation of our, what we want in life. And it's a long road. It's a bumpy road. It's a hard road, but you're gonna have setbacks. You're gonna go through some personal things that are gonna really test if you can continue this. But if you have the heart, the desire, the want, and the love for professional wrestling, and you remind yourself of that every day, you write it down, whatever you got to do to remind yourself why you're doing this, if you just continue to do it, you can reach any dream that you ever have thought of.
A wise man once said, dreams begat reality. And I always tell people, I don't have dreams. I have yet materialized reality.
Yeah, it's just like anything else. If you really want to do something and you really put your mind to it, there's gonna be setbacks. There's gonna be personal things that get in the way. You're gonna go through personal triumph and tragedy, and maybe even professional triumph and tragedy. But as long as you can just remind yourself why you're doing this, your love of it, it can actually be a peaceful like haven for you.
Right.
You walk through those doors, forget about what's going on in the world, and you just focus on your craft. Don't let anybody ever tell you that you're not going to be good enough. Plenty of people have told me in my life, you're not big enough, you're not strong enough to do this. And I've literally looked at them and I've laughed in their face and I've walked away from them. And I've never spoken to them again. And here I am.
And here you are.
in this studio with the both.
Right. There you go. I tell you what, we're going to take one quick little break. And when we come back, some final thoughts and some final words with Allaney Harley. It's WLW Amplify. Stick around. We're almost done, and we'll be right back.
Jim Trenary Ford in Moscow Mills, Missouri has knowledgeable sales staff and expert service technicians dedicated to delivering the best possible customer service from any Ford dealership in the region. Subscribe to our channel for comprehensive vehicle walkarounds, test drives, and model-specific how-to videos, which will give you a glimpse into the passion we have for these vehicles and the real difference the Jim Trenary experience makes. Stay up to date on the newest technology, features, models, and news from Jim Trenary Ford, where our huge inventory means we'll have the perfect vehicle to fit your lifestyle. Our seasoned team of sales and service experts can get you in, out, and on with your day without the pressure you'll feel at the other dealerships. Subscribe to our channel and stop by to see the difference the Jim Trenary experience can make today.
You just saw it October 3rd. October 3rd, back at the Harley Race Wrestling Arena. WLW will be back in action. Yay. Doors open at 6. Bell time's at 7. Allaney will be in action in the ring as a referee.
Be managing these people. Hey, now. Do your job. You're always yelling at me. Do your job, ref. Hey, I've been doing my job the whole time. I count 1, 2, 3. If you can keep them down for a 3, don't look at me. That's not my fault.
It is truly amazing just how many times during a show, ref 3 matches, 2 matches, 4 matches, that you have to tell them, hey, I'm doing my job. You need to focus on your job. Because if you turn your head, you're not looking at the guy looking to knock your block off. And how many times have you seen that happen too? They should listen a little better.
They should. Hey, we're not just there to count to 3, but we're also there to make sure this match is following all the rules. So stop yelling at me, man.
Stop yelling at me, man.
Kind of like why would you? This is my thing. Why would you make the one person that can call this match in your favor or not in your favor mad at you? Like, you make me mad enough, I'm gonna DQ you, or if you make me mad enough, as Martin asked a couple weeks ago, like, the cup is gonna run over.
Right.
Like, it's gonna happen one day.
She says, Alex says, just tell the fans, know your role and shut your mouth. Jabroni. Great. Yeah. So October 3rd, everybody get out to the Race Wrestling Arena for some great professional wrestling. You get to see Allaney in action as a referee, as well as there's some matches that have already been announced, which should be quite interesting.
I'm looking forward to Stefan Newton versus Brandon Espinoza. I'm
not sure about that.
I just feel like that, there's a lot of movable parts around that people need to be aware of and think about there. We could have a former tag team champion group reforming. You never know. You could have Raheem De La Suede interfering in the match. You never know.
Is he still Raheem's sugar daddy?
As far as I know, I mean, they definitely come up to cut their promos together. So
All right, then.
they're obviously still riding around.
1 + 1 is 2.
Well, yeah. Well, Allaney, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It was a good time. No better way to spend my Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess you're headed home now, or
Who knows? You never know.
are you going? What you going to do?
I just go where my car takes me.
Where your car takes you?
Yeah, where my car takes me. I don't know where I'm going.
You want a key to the arena?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go run some ropes for a bit.
I just want to let everybody know that she said that looking off into the distance, like Shane
Shame.
at the end of the.
That's just not right.
I'm everywhere, so you never know where I'm going to be. That's the thing.
That's great. All right. Well, Allaney, thanks for coming in. We will not be back next Sunday. We will return to the air, Amplify on a brand new format. We'll be back on October 4th to discuss everything about the show that we just had on the 3rd with a brand new format. So come and tune in for that. It's going to be a great time, a big fun. Look forward to that. Other than that, you got anything else?
I mean, get out and get your tickets for the 3rd.
Yes, there you go. Go to www.harleyrace.com.
Right.
Find us on all the social media outlets you can possibly get out there. I'm pretty sure Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. You got anything you want to plug? What about how can fans find
What
you?
I want to plug. Jeez. Yeah, my Twitter handles are pretty simple. My Instagram is pretty simple. It's my name, Allaney, Allaney, 15. That's a 1 and a 5. Twitter is a little different. It might be Toasted Raviolis 15. I haven't quite decided yet, but I think that's what it is. It's Toasted Raviolis 15. I like food. Don't look at me like that, CT. Come on.
No,
man.
I got you. No, I'm good. Toasted raviolis are awesome.
They're so good. McDinger's has really good ones too.
I know. What about Facebook?
It's pretty simple. Allaney Harley.
All right.
Last name you should never forget.
No.
Come on.
No. I've seen your family.
What?
I'm kidding.
I haven't seen mine.
Thanks a lot.
No, thank you.
And we'll see. Oh my gosh. We'll see you guys next time on WLW Amplify. I'm CT Harrison,
I'm Martin Kadish.
and we'll see you next time.
World League Wrestling in memory of Harley Race.
Couldn't the ring with us? It was over before it started.
And new World League Wrestling Tag Team Champions.
He has Stefan in his corner.